So, about this channeling thing. What do I mean by it? How does it happen? Who am I channeling? These are all reasonable questions, and it's about time I answered them. Different words are used interchangeably, and though they probably mean separate things. But to me, being a medium is an occupation, so to speak, or a calling. To me, channeling is the act of. In any case, it is when someone brings information that isn't readily available to everyone's eyes or ears or senses to this world, either for someone, a client who you're working with, a patient you're treating, someone who's asked for that. I believe, it's called a gift, and it is. I'm very good at it. There's no question. I've been doing it my whole life, and I've been alive a long, long time. So it is a gift, and yet I think it's an ability that all human beings have the possibility of. I look at it as a radio station, and our world is very, very, very busy, hey? And it's noisy, and it's only getting busier and noisier and faster. Things move faster than the pace that human beings were designed to move at. We call it stress, right? So the thing is that in order to channel, you have to first learn to be quiet. La 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 la, as they say, to listen here. And you have to listen to hear. And those are two different things. We often listen to respond. We humans, we do. So that's part of it, is being still and learning to listen, learning to ignore everything else. And there are other elements of it. In the Zulu tradition, we call it pasha. They're communicating through words with the ancestors through ceremony. Many, many traditions have something similar. My Mexican friends all have altars in their home. Many, many, many Latin American families do. It's not something that I was raised with as a child, though, and that brings up an important point. When kids aren't getting what they're needing from their day-to-day world, sometimes they will develop these sorts of gifts. There are some schools of thought that believe people who are autistic are also gifted in this regard. I don't know. There's you can research all of that. Part 2, I'll tell you how I use this. Part 2 of this channeling thing. In part 1, I talked a little bit about what channeling is, the word, bringing through information in different ways. Different people have different ways of doing that. You might hear the words clairaudient, which means that you hear things, you receive information auditorily. Clairvoyant, which means you see things. And for me, I have been doing this for a long time. They say 10,000 hours of practice makes a master, and I've got way more than that under my belt. Been doing this my whole life. So I receive information in many ways. What people do with channeling and what they call themselves, a channel, a medium, a diviner, intuitive healer, all kinds of things, varies. Everyone's got their own take on this, just like everything else. You won't find any two car salesmen who are exactly the same, will you? I choose to use it in ways that feel supportive. Not everyone does. It is not fortune telling, and people often want that, but that's not how I see it as the way I want to use this gift. And I think it creates false hope in people because channeled information can be interpreted in many, many different ways. How do I use it? I have done things like use it for businesses to help them make major decisions. So sometimes it's that kind of thing. I have done it to help people heal, particularly from trauma. I have used it to help creatives create, whether writing, painting, that kind of thing. It's really good for when people are feeling blocked. But my favorite way to use it is to connect people with their ancestors. I firmly believe that human beings are supposed to have that kind of underpinning or safety net underneath them of knowing that those who came before them, whether related by blood or by spirit, are there for them, rooting for them, that they have cheerleaders. And I think it's one of the best ways to help people feel a sense of belonging that they sometimes can't get in our modern world. So whether it's what we call crossovers here in South Africa or sessions where information comes out directly, it tends to leave people with a sense of not being alone, of there being something bigger and greater than all of us. And when people have been through a lot, that can be incredibly valuable. I don't promise anything. It is up to the listener to interpret things. My job is to keep a very clean channel and to just let them interpret things in their own way. Everything I do online is channeled to some degree. There are those that I label as channeled readings or sessions, and that those messages I just let come directly and send them right out into the world. These kinds of messages like today, I typically, you can tell the difference, but most of the time I wake up with an idea. I set myself up. Depending on the day, I put on a filter. I am human. And then the words just come. So I hope that helps. We'll talk a little bit more about ancestors another day.